Hi, great people. Welcome back to yet another session of hope and encouragement. I missed you so much, and I'm happy to be back. So, welcome. And today, our topic is about bearing one another because the Bible calls us to be our brother's keeper. But how often do we bear the burdens of others? Could be at work, could be as a parent, could be in our relationships. How do you deal with someone's weaknesses? Or how do you rather handle someone who comes to you for help? So by bearing one another, it actually means you should be able to handle their behavior. You know, we have these people with very queer and disgusting behavior that that are very annoying, and you need to be able to handle this person in a way that they'll not feel less of themselves, or you don't need to offend them. So Bible calls us to be our brother's keeper, and we are referring from the book of Galatians chapter 6 verse 2. Kindly allow me to read it. So Galatians chapter 6 verse 2, it says, help to carry one another's burden, and in this way you will obey the law of Christ. So by bearing with someone's weaknesses, it actually means that we are obeying God. And when we please God, then we make life easier for everyone. So let's look at work. As an employer, as a leader, that team leader, how do you relate with your staff or the people that you've been entrusted with? I actually noticed that most managers and the CEOs, they have no issues with their with their employees. But these are the ones that have been entrusted to take charge of the small teams, the junior teams, those beneath you. That's where the issue lies. Because as a leader, God has entrusted you to be able to bring out the best in the people that you're looking after, the people beneath you. So you need to have that big heart to look beyond their absenteeism, their lateness, or even incompetence. So as a leader, how do you deal with someone who comes to work late often, could be thrice in a week, or even lateness, or absenteeism, or incompetence? Are you the kind of a leader that is quick to to take disciplinary actions? You're quick to write emails, forwarding them to your manager, maligning your staff's name because they came to work late, or they're absent? Are you the kind of a leader that you shame them to other leaders, so that when this person is already, they're already marked that they always come to work late and they're absent, so they are well known? We have these programs, or rather we have these projects that come to boost salary once in a while. So you find that when someone is fond of coming to work late or even absent, they are written off. So they don't qualify for such projects, or maybe they're incompetent. You disqualify them, other than wanting to see them down. Get to know why their queer behavior. We have it's not usual, and I believe it's not usual or normal for someone to come to work late, like maybe 4 times in a week. It's not usual. This person may be going through something that may want to be looked at, and some people hardly talk. So you may need, as a leader, you may need to see this person down and dig deep, because like introverts, they hardly speak. Some people find it hard to speak. Probably they shared with someone, and they were misunderstood. So you may, as a leader, God has put you there to help this person. You have the leadership skills, so you need to to dig deep into this person, want to know what it is they're struggling with, and seek to know how you can be of help to them. You could be our only source of hope. You could be the person that God has put to make them overcome their behavior, and by so doing you could save these persons. You could save this person, because they could eventually lose their job, but because of you talking to them, then you help them overcome it and save their job. So you need not to jump into conclusions. Seek to know why and how you can help this person overcome their behavior as a leader. You don't need to disqualify people. You don't need to write them off simply because they are incompetent. Sit them down, talk to them how you can help them, perform better, and even consider them for such projects that come to boost salary. So allow me to read Ephesians 6:5. Ephesians chapter 6:5. Actually, the book says slaves and masters, but I don't like slaves. It doesn't sound good, so I'll use which one am I gonna use? Slaves, no. So I'll use employees instead of slaves. Employees, obey your human masters with fear and trembling, and do it with a sincere heart, as though you are serving Christ. Do this not only when they are watching you, do this not only when they are watching you because you want to gain their approval, wow, but with all your heart. Do what God wants as employees of Christ. Do your work as employees cheerfully, as though you serve the Lord and not merely men. Remember that the Lord will reward everyone, whether employee or free, for the good work he does. And to the employers, the Bible calls you masters, so that's a better one than employees, than slaves. So masters, behave in the same way towards your employees, and stop using threats. I did not say it. The Bible. Remember that you and your slaves remember that you and your employees belong to the same master in heaven, who judges everyone by the same standard. Wow. You may need to read this again, Ephesians 6:5, for you to understand better. But just to go quick on it, says that sometimes we have these employees, yes, who you just want to reap where you have not sown. So you are reluctant at work. Sometimes even you fake that sick off, and you expect salary at the end of the month. It is not right, and the Bible has warned us. Sometimes you're at work and you're reluctant, you're doing, if it's on the internet, you're checking into other sites, and when you see the team leader or your employer, then you jump into the place, the site of work, which is very wrong. The Bible is against that. You must not work because someone is monitoring you, but you should do as if you're working for the Lord. Do it as if you own that job, and by so doing, God is a rewarder. He will reward you. You may not be rewarded by your employer. Your team leader may not what do you say? They may not acknowledge your performance or your efforts, but God in heaven sees, and he will reward you. If only as an employee, you do it, not because someone is watching you, but because you fear God and because you're working for the Lord and for the benefit of the company. And to the masters, the employers, the Bible warns us against threats, which actually happens in most of the companies. So you need to be you need to be social with your staff. You don't need to put that, serious face because you're a leader and you're exercising your leadership powers and you want people to fear you. Be social with your staff. Be social with them. Talk to them nicely. Give them time to break, You You don't have to make them work like slaves. They can't even go to the loo, you know. Someone cannot have even 2 minutes to breathe or even sip a cup of tea. You need to lead people in a, you know, in a godly way. Make people comfortable at work. And you know, at work is where people spend 95%. Is it? Actually, it's 98% of their time. So you need to make the place conducive for them. Okay? And at as a parent, how do you deal with this rebellious child? Or maybe your child is addicted to drugs. They could be alcoholic or using drugs, or they're just rebellious. You know, they are disrespectful. And how do you deal with such as a parent? And you know, their behavior could be as a result of the conflicts within the family. Probably you have issues with your husband or your wife, and you quarrel with each other in their presence, which affects and traumatizes this child. Could be it's out of peer pressure. So it could be either of the two, peer pressure or the issues affecting your marriage. Could be even lack. You may not be able to meet the needs of these children, the needs in the family, and as a result this child gets affected, you know, and it shows by how they behave. So as a parent, how do you deal with such? Are you the kind of a parent that, you know, insults them and cursing them? We have others who even they chase them away from home. How do you deal with a difficult, disrespectful, rebellious child? Cursing them is not a result, is not the solution. This child needs love, they need care. You need to embrace them, understand them, and if maybe the issue is getting out of hand, you may need to seek counsel. You may begin with a family member, an elder, and if they don't solve the issue, then you may need to seek counsel. We have counseling centers, we have rehab centers, we have even a spiritual source, could be your pastor or a mentor, rather than insulting this child, which makes it even worse for them. Or even we have people who cane children to death, which is very wrong. Out of, you know, out of anger, you cane your own child to death, or even cause them marks, you know, on their bodies. And this child, you know, they never forget. They will grow, and that mark will always remind them that you as a parent, you put the scar on them, and it is not right. So we need to embrace these children. We need to talk to them in a way that doesn't offend them or even make them worse. We need to be gentle with them. Bible calls us to bear one another, to be gentle with them, to show them love, and be patient with them. Help them recover, other than making it worse than it already is. So allow me to read the book of Colossians chapter 3 verse 21. Colossians 3:21. Colossians 3:21 says, "Parents, do not irritate your children, or they will become discouraged." Wow. So the Bible is against being harsh on our children. We need to be gentle with them. How you talk to them, show them love, help them overcome this addiction that they are going through, than rather making it hard for them. So how about organizations? We have non-governmental organizations that look after the vulnerable and the needy, which works in hand with the church. So as a pastor in the church, God has placed you there. If maybe you are blessed enough to even handle the needy cases, and you have extended your church with a program that caters for the needy. How do you deal with people that come to you when in need? the vulnerable, the NGOs. How do you relate with, how do you handle a needy person when they come to you for help? Sometimes we find ourselves, trying to analyze the reason as why this person is needy. You're tempted to think maybe they are extravagant with their little earnings, or they are maybe taking advantage of the fact that these are kitty, these are a welfare kitty, so you feel like they're taking advantage. Sometimes we are tempted to think that actually there's this notion that when a needy person is neatly dressed, they don't qualify for the help, because they look well kept. So there's a notion that the needy should, be dressed in tatters and rags. They should not do makeup. And maybe this person has a taste. Probably they are rocking in a dress worth 50 shillings, a second-hand dress for that matter, a mutumba, or even worth 100 shillings. But because they have taste and they know how to do makeup, they look nice. So you end up disqualifying them from the program. Whereas this person could be going through so much and inside, hurting inside. But you look at the outward. Bible is against that. And God looks God looks at our inner hearts. There's a way to gauge a genuine case when someone comes to you in need, other than just looking at their outward and judging them. Let me read Proverbs 14:31. Proverbs 13:41. Proverbs 14:31. If you oppress the poor, it says that if you oppress the poor, you insult the God who made them. But kindness shown to the poor is an act of worship. Wow. So you need to be cautious, because the Bible is against looking down upon the needy. So you don't need to disqualify them. There's a better way you can check if they are genuine. And I believe no one loves to beg. No one loves, to borrow. So if someone comes to you in need, it means that there's something that pushed them to come to you. So we are called to work with them and help them carry their burdens, other than putting them off.